As white people, is our deepest fear that we are inadequate? Or is our deepest fear that Black excellence is powerful beyond measure?
People are intimidated by Black talent. Yeah, I said it. Wait, let me cook. Let's talk Sinners real quick. A powerful, beautifully written, poetic Black story. And what did they do? Water it down. Downplay the numbers. Act like it's another trend. Nah, that was impact. That was culture shifting. That was art. And it's not just that. Look at what they do to Black creators on these platforms. Shadow banning, copying ideas with no credit, only pushing us when it's trauma or trending drama. But let us try to be multi-genre. Comedy, tech, so all of a sudden the algorithm got amnesia. They try to minimize our influence because they know it's real. They know when Black people speak, the culture moves. We set the trends, we build the aesthetics. We are the moment and the future. So if you're a Black creator, keep creating. Keep telling stories that don't fit a box. Because the truth is, they scared. And that fear is just proof that your voice matters. Tag a Black creator that needs to hear this. We're not just content, we're the blueprint.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching my videos from. Welcome back to my YouTube space. Let's not pretend that we cannot feel it. You can feel it, I can feel it. And deep down, I know they are feeling it too. The white fear of Black success isn't just a fantasy. It's a paranoia. It's not victimhood. And it is real, it is historical, and it is psychological. The Black success scares the hell out of the system. The Black success is a threat to some people. And more importantly, it is predictable. Why am I saying this? Because every time Black people rise economically, politically, socially, culturally, a wave of panic shows up. Example is what happened in South Africa. Black South Africans are rising up, but there is panic within the region. There is panic within the white South Africans. The Western powers are coming in between. Another example is the rise of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, the rise of Sahel state. It has caused tension between the white system because Sahel state, it is rising up politically and economically, and we are bringing up our culture. It is causing tension between, not because we are doing anything wrong, but because we are doing everything right. And that threatened the myth. And that threatens the myth of white superiority. Today, in this video, we are going deep. I'm breaking down why so many white people or white America or the Western powers are afraid of Black success. And at the end of the video, you will see we don't need to ask permission to succeed. We just need to understand why they keep trying to stop our success. Before I go into my commentary, I want you to watch these clips I've featured in Minister Farrakhan and other people in this video. I want you to listen what they have to say about the Black people's success, and then I'm waiting for your comment on the comment section. What do you think of Black people's success, and why do you think the white system is scared of the Black people's success? And then I'm coming back with my commentary.
We are unfulfilled as men because racist white America cannot stand to see a Black man really free, full of the power of God, with a creative mind at work, with a helpmeet by his side, working to develop creative ideas for the advancement of his family and his people. So since two things cannot occupy the same space at the same time, if the white male is gonna rule, then he must crush the Black male. White male, you are wrong. Because if in reality, because of white supremacy, you believe that in order for you to survive as a white man, You have to crush a black man's existence. Then in crushing our existence, you are doing something to your own. Because ultimately, no power on earth, no power, for any long period of time can keep any man from attaining what God himself has willed for that man. Yeah.
So we're out here doing all this work to make sure our young black boys are visionary, self-assured, confident, going as far even in Shador Sanders' case to practice their autographs at a young age, because we know the work we're going to put in. We know what we're going for. And what we saw with this year's NFL draft pick in terms of the response to Shador Sanders' pick and his timing was that it is indeed a crime to be an uppity Negro. No, I don't mean a legal one, I mean a public one. And while I am no NFL expert beyond studying the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show, I can smell when people are upset about uppity blackness, especially rich uppity blackness, from a mile away. Especially that desire to humiliate a young black boy who has not done the started from the bottom now we hear journey that most people are comfortable with. Am I talking about the real business football concerns that different members in the NFL might have about Sanders as a player? Absolutely not. We're not tackling that. Sure, he opted out of playing in the Shrine Bowl and, said, I'm not going to necessarily participate in some drills done at the combine. It's totally fair for industry experts and league evaluators to go, we wonder how he'll play out as a quarterback in the locker room, right? We think his throw is good, but not great. We're loving his accuracy and his timing and the way he pulls certain things together. We have questions about XYZ. That's totally fine. This is a business decision and you are allowed to do that. And no one is crying racism because of that. We know he started all 4 of his collegiate seasons. We know his second school, the one at Colorado, retired his jersey along with another person. And of course, his dad is not the only person behind that. There's no way he could pull that off. Sanders has been noted to have an accurate deep throw. It is a plus, not a minus, that his father, Deion Sanders, has been there to help him and give him advice. And there was a reason that even President Trump himself tweeted that somebody better pick this guy if they want their team to win. And there's a reason that he was predicted as the NFL's #1 draft pick. It's been reported that some of his NFL interviews went really well and some didn't go as well. And there's a whole discussion here about how Sanders refuses to code switch, but how he tries and talks about trying to keep things as professional as possible while remaining true to himself. Participating in the NFL draft when you've been told you're going to be the #1 pick, when you have a wealthy family and doing a custom room, a chain, having a big celebration, what is wrong with that? What is arrogant about that? The feedback and shock that we saw around him having to wait so long to be drafted was not to do with necessarily his plays or his stats. It had to do with how people felt about his wealth and how people felt about how he carried himself. I saw some gleeful, embittered, angry comments that had absolutely nothing to do with his game. There was all this talk around arrogance and just over-the-top confidence, and I went and I checked out his page expecting some loud-spoken, brash child, and what I found was a soft-spoken, confident kid who has an awareness of all his different entrepreneurial pursuits and seems to be very grateful for all he has. What I found was that people seemed shook that a rich black kid with a rich black family from a dad who has been in this industry for a long time was acting like one. I found all over his Instagram this community of people who were really proud of the different partnerships he was working on and the work he's put into his own craft. They are happy to see this legacy and this brand continue, this kind of vision in this particular young man. Black boys in custom chains and nice cars with nice houses is fine to a lot of people, as long as you start with a distance and a story of struggle and pain. If you're never see, if you look around glad and frightened to be there, they see us and they're uncomfortable and they want us to be uncomfortable too. I am not seeing insufferable, unearned swagger. I am seeing someone step into his inheritance. And when he did not get his way and he had humiliating rounds of going from #1 draft pick to sliding all the way down to the final day, what did we see? People from their comments seem to be expecting a hissy fit, somebody crashing out. No, we see someone thanking God and thanking his family for the opportunity to even play the game and be here. This obsession with making young black boys grovel at the feet of white corporations, that's something I thought we left behind with the Michael Orr mess. And he even said he was horrified to look back at how people had changed his story to be how he was like this mute and brutish animal who couldn't play football and didn't know anything until the white people saved him. I have more to say about the stories we want to squeeze out of young black men, but until then, keep your chin up and your chain on, Mr. Sanders, because I'm glad to see you win in this case.
This is my opinion as a white woman who is 53 years old and has lived in the South in Georgia my entire life. But it's not being scared, but it's a fear. And it's not a physical fear, it is the mental fear. It is what we see in you and what we see you doing and how it challenges us and the fear of that.
And also to this point, yeah, if we talk about the first round, sure, I can see Shador maybe not going. Second round, dicey. We are now going into the fourth round of the NFL draft, and Shador Sanders has not been drafted. A top 10 Heisman candidate. And then people are also saying, like, oh, well, it's because of his father. He's a Nepo baby. Well, that's interesting, right? Sure, maybe. But never have I heard being a Nepo baby such an issue, right, for people otherwise. Because realistically, when Eli Manning was drafted, Archie Manning's son, Peyton Manning's brother, he was difficult. So much so that he didn't want to go to the team that drafted him, the Chargers. So he forced himself to get traded to the Giants. But Shador is difficult. Okay. Cool. This is all largely rooted in the same reason why Lamar Jackson wasn't drafted until late in the draft, right? When he should have probably been the first pick. This is a multi-time MVP now. But before, he was just, for lack of a better term, an urban hood black guy who should have probably been a wide receiver until he showed you, nah, I'm a quarterback. Right? Racism, white supremacy. Y'all don't know what you're talking about, right? I mean, the last thing I would say is even the idea that so many of you are getting off on the fact that this is happening to Shador is because you actually hate black people. And some of you have internalized, even as black and brown people, internalized anti-blackness without realizing it, right? How blackness shows up in a way that works for you or doesn't work for you is largely rooted in white supremacy, racism, and anti-blackness. Wearing the chain, having the bravado, throwing the rollie up, while also producing, yeah, you don't like that. You want your black boys to go to church, be quiet, and just say, I have nothing to say. Football and God over everything. We know what you want. And we know why you want it. Racism. Simple as that. And I'm not going to argue with a bunch of people who aren't, I mean, even if you are an expert, I'm not going to argue with you. But y'all don't know what you're talking about. Literal experts. I'm going to be egotistical for a second. I'm an expert on race. Literally an expert on race. Degrees, readings. I get paid to come in and unpack these things. And yet I have white guys in my comments and black guys in my comments and white women in my comments and black women in my comments and all sorts of people of color in my comments. It's not about race. What do you know about race? What do you know about race? Nothing.
Welcome back. Now, first, let's talk about psychological. Many white people were raised to believe that they are natural, smarter, better, and more civilized than black people. And they grew up knowing that they are more deserving than black people. Not all white people, but some of them. Don't quote me wrong. It wasn't taught directly, but it was there. Again, many black people too, we grew up or we were raised to believe that we are less than white people. We are less privileged. We are poor. We have disability naturally. And in school books, in cartoons, in the news, in who they saw in power and who they saw in chains. In cartoons, you could see the white cartoons being superior. There was no even black cartoons. The only time you could see black cartoons is maybe, understand what I'm trying to say? When a black man walks into a boardroom and takes charge, it sounds weird. When a black woman builds a multi-million-dollar business from scratch, when African nation tells Europe to pack their bags, how Burkina Faso have done, the myth start cracking. I know you understand. We are all into agreement up to here. The white people that are watching this video, if I'm wrong, you can tell me in the comment section that I'm wrong. Because People panic when their sense of identity is challenged. People panic when their sense of identity is challenged. They are not just afraid of us. They are not just afraid of black people. They are afraid of what we reveal about them. They are afraid of the accountability. They are afraid that they are losing. Now, that is about psychological. Let's talk about history. From the beginning, the wealth of the West, America, Europe, was built on black suppression. Black people were oppressed so that a nation to be built. Enslavement wasn't just about labor. It was about hierarchy. Reconstruction burned down. Black Wall Street bombed down. The civil rights movement met with batons and bullets. Every time black people take a step, there's a white backlash. Tulsa wasn't a one-off. Voter suppression. The laws were put to oppress black people. It is not a coincidence, because our progress makes them face what they did. Our progress makes them behold accountability. Our progress makes them to start admitting the atrocities they did to the black people and what they fear that might become. And it's just about fear. White South Africans, they fear of what might become. There is nothing like what they are saying is going on in South Africa. But because black people are rising up in South Africa, they fear what might become. They fear to be held accountable. They fear, and that's why America is in between this game. That's about the history. I'm just giving about the history of South Africa. About Burkina Faso, the French, they fear what might become when they lose 100% in Burkina Faso. The economy might crumble. They'll be held accountable of the things they've done in Burkina Faso. Now, let's go about money, because money is power. Black Americans have over $1.7 trillion in spending power. But how much of that stays in black hands? How much? Less than 2%. And when we say, let's circulate the dollar, let's bank black, let's buy black, suddenly it's a problem. It's a problem. Suddenly it's a divisive. And see, the fear isn't just about us succeeding. It is about succeeding without them. Because when we build our own schools, our own banks, our own media, we become untouchable. And that's what they are afraid of, irrelevance. They are afraid of irrelevance. They are afraid of losing the track. They are afraid that they might become below us. And for sure, they have grown up to believe they're better, smarter than black people. When we had black innovators, black engineers, black scientists, they were never given credit. All the credit went to white people. White man discovered this, they discovered this, they discovered that. It is wrong. It is wrong for a black man to succeed. Very wrong. Why? Because when a black man succeeds, he becomes a threat. Now, let's talk about business. When a white CEO messes up, it's a mistake. But when a black CEO succeeds, it's affirmative action. DEI gets blamed for everything. And even they ended the DEI, from stock price to workplace culture. But here is the thing. DEI was working. It got black people in the door. And the moment we started moving up the ladder, the rules changed. DEI abolished. You see what's happening. We voted for Trump. Now Trump has ended DEI because black people were raising up. Because black people were going up very fast. And because they think it was the work of DEI, they decide to scrape off DEI. They call it woke capitalism or lowering standards. But the truth is, they are not mad that we are unqualified. They are mad that we are overqualified, that we are better. That's about business. About culture, I will talk about hip-hop. I will talk about Black Twitter or Black X. I will talk about Afrobeat, music in general, braids, grills, melanin, rhythm, language. Our culture moves the planet. Who can deny that? Black people's culture move the planet. Even when we go to athletes. And every time black culture become dominant, white panic follows. Every time black culture become, if the news, the talk of the town, it's a panic to white people. I know, we know that. They will say suddenly it's too woke, it is anti-white, they are trying to copy us, they are regulating us. And what's for sure is that they can't kill what they can't control. And black culture is uncontrollable, and that's why they are scared. Now, this isn't just happening in the US. African nations are standing up to Western interference. Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso are telling France to leave. Caribbean nations are pushing for reparations. Black communities in the UK, Canada, Brazil are rising, organizing, building coalitions. The global south is turning black and bold. And the West, they are terrified because they can't bully us forever. They can't bully Africa forever because Africa is rising up and they are trying new strategies and trying to find new allies. The balance of power is shifting. And this is so scary. How do they respond? They are responding through the media. They criminalize black victims. They soften white crimes. They highlight black dysfunction but bury black brilliance. And when they do show success, it's always one person, never the collective. Because a community of strong, educated, unified black people, that's dangerous to the system, and they know it. A community of black scientists, successful, it's a threat to the system. A community of black businessmen, successful businessmen, it's a threat to the system. They know it. The fear isn't passive. It turns into action. Police brutality, school closure, history erasure, food deserts, surveillance, mass incarceration, bullying, housing discrimination, you name it. More and more policies. And this is how white fear get weaponized. Not because we are dangerous, but because we are capable, because we rise without asking permission. And every time we do, the system shows its teeth because deep down it knows we are the future. Very true. Let's not lie to each other. Black people are the future and we have always been. But the timing of us with the future is just a little time. Even when you quote the Bible, you will know black people are the future. Even if you quote the Quran, you will know black people are the future. Even if you don't quote anything, you just read the signs, you will know the power is about to shift. And we are the future. Here is the truth, the pure truth, deep down from my soul as Kenyan beast. Yes, they are scared, and they should be. Because for centuries, more than 400 years, they told the world that we are not just equal, or they told the world that we are inferior as black people. But we have proven over and over that we are not equal. In many ways, we are ahead as black people. Yes, let's believe that. Not even believing, it is true. In many ways, black people are ahead. We have survived the worst and still build greatness. We have innovated, we have led, we have inspired the globe, and now we are building power. The kind of power they can't copy, they can't buy, they can't silence. No We don't need to turn it down. We don't need to beg for inclusion. We need to build our own table. We need to build our own empire and stop explaining why we deserve the seat. Because their fear is not our problem. Their fear is not our problem. It is their reflection of what they have been doing. And we are just getting started. Tell your neighbor we are just getting started. I want you to comment down there on the comment section. Just say, we are just getting started. Because I want you to drop the comment below. Tell me, what part of black excellence do you think scare the system the most? And if you are feeling this message, share it with your sister, with your brother, and let them hear what the world is about too. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next episode, peace out.